don't know what the fuck. No, I'm not gonna continue that. I have no idea where it's gonna lead to. It's just gonna be a bunch of random noises. Anyways, what is up, people? That's actually our Godzilla impersonation. You know, I fucking love that roar, by the way. I really wish they would have kept the roar from 2014's Godzilla trailer, but you know what? We'll get into that later on, people. What is up? Double Toast the pre-show. We are all up in your face. That's it. I don't know. I was talking to Alan before we did the show. I don't know how to start these. It's terrible. But
I mean, you could, better than that. Try again.
Okay. What's up, people? Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to us. I hate those guys too. They're really fucking annoying. Anyways, Alan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing very, very good too. You're doing probably better than me because, well, we'll get into that later on. I'm gonna hate on you a little bit, but you know, what's different, right? Exactly, yeah. I beat you to it, bitch. But we're gonna go around the fucking room. Roxy, how are you doing, by the way?
I'm doing great.
No, snippity snap. Yes.
Yes. I feel good.
Okay. Another thing too, man. I gotta ask around. Ganja Guru, man, how are you doing, good sir?
I'm feeling great.
Okay. No, man. I'm actually, I will say, yesterday we did kind of a semi-short show. We ended off with Randy Newman playing us out, which, by the way, was very, very fun. I just want to thank you, Randy Newman. I know you don't like short.
I hope we got copyright struck.
What you call everyone saying? Get ready for that pandemonium. Oh yes, man. So many things going on with that Godzilla vs. Kong trailer. One of the trendiest things in the world. But we're gonna hold off a little bit on that. I want to wait till more people come in here so we can all talk about it and you guys can actually discuss some stuff as well. But yeah, so many things happening. But have we stopped with the whole political stuff? Because I feel like it's like the first weekend that nothing really big as far as you know, crazy political shit. Nothing's happened in the last 2 days. But is that the case, Gonjo? I'm going to ask you first, man.
I say give it some time.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely give it some time. There's always going to be issues. But, like, for this weekend, though, have you felt like maybe things have kind of somewhat slowed down as far as...
I mean, most people have said they feel like they won their moment, and with Biden, quote-unquote, giving legitimacy back to the presidency, a lot of people are going to drop off and think, you know, the adults are in charge, and if they didn't care about politics before, because, quote-unquote, Cheeto was in office, they're going to stop caring about it now. And probably the most thing they're gonna make fun of is Biden, like fubbing up a couple of his speeches. But that's about it. Honestly, I don't see anyone else like really trying to come up to the plate. That's not really hardcore political people anymore. I think what you're gonna see is like everyone slowly start to teeter off. Because if they do it like right away, it's gonna be noticeable, and people are like, "Hey, you're just doing it for the views." So it's gonna slowly teeter off throughout this month. Because honestly, after the president is really inaugurated, you maybe get like one or two big things, but their presidency doesn't really start until like 4 or 5 months in.
Okay, which is, wow, that's kind of crazy, but we'll see how that's going to fucking turn out. But Roxy, have you noticed that things have calmed down somewhat as far as people's intense arguments and hating the other side and all that shit? What have you noticed in the last few days?
Honestly, yeah, a lot of people are feeling like, oh, we're returning back to normal. Like, racism's over. The divide is over. Everything's great. It's fixed. Now we have someone respectable. So basically people who are more reactionaries in terms of politics and try to be more about it, at least presenting wise, now they're just going back to silence. They don't really care as much anymore now that, you know, you can't make the easy joke that like, oh, Cheeto bad.
Exactly. Oh, God, I hate those fucking jokes. Like, yeah, I get it, guys. Like, everyone knows Cheetos. That's cool. You know, oh, look at him, Cheetos. Like, there's other orange things out there. Why don't we call him a tangerine? You know? Like, there's other shit. But speaking of other shit, like, normally I'd be asking you the exact same question I asked him, Alan, but, you know, obviously, you know, you probably have the same opinion because, yeah, that is the case. Everything's happening the way it is. But have you noticed, Alan, that people are probably putting more work into talking about the topics of entertainment lately? Like, have you noticed any up in that?
It's like the fucking Super Bowl or any sort of big sports thing. The lead up to it, suddenly everyone's a fucking analyst and an expert. And then as soon as it's over, everyone's like, I don't care about somebody throwing a ball. It's the same shit when it comes to politics. When it was in the limelight, everyone's a political expert. The moment, I guess, yeah, like Gunn said they won, it's like, well, you know, we can go back to forgetting about it. So the moment anything drops, it's the biggest talk in the world.
Yeah, because I mean, this is one of the situations where I'm kind of like, okay, well, this is a huge example of this being the case. But right away, people are, and this is just one article. There's a few other ones that had this going on too. And I hear a ding dong. Let me see who this is. Jet. Hey there. Before we continue on this topic, I just want to say, Jet, are you there? Is your mic working?
I got my headphones on backwards and I'm ready to fucking party.
Damn! She just picked the fucking table up and threw it and shit like she just lost a Monopoly game. Like, yeah, fuck it.
But where my 2,000 check at?
Yeah, no, that's another thing. Man, I hope we get to learn something about that within the next week. I know that he did some kind of 50% increase as far as like the food stamps goes, and that does affect me in my life. I don't have food stamps, but people in my family do, so hopefully that's something that actually happens there. M. Hundubba says, I hated politics, by the way. I failed 2 political courses not long ago. Yeah, I didn't even know that like you could do that. I mean, I know that you have to go into like law stuff, like learning about whatever, but like political classes, like just for the politics, like I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing.
I took. Did I take a political class? I took one in high school, and I know there was ones offered in university. I never fucking took them. I took law classes.
Okay, well, no, that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I wish I would have done that. I probably would have learned more about navigating the political world myself, but I did not. Slacker, what's up, dude? And Gene over there saying happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday to you too. But no, one of the things I've noticed, and this is just one article. But people are like making fun of the name, not the idea, but the name of the new Game of Thrones thing. It says a new Game of Thrones prequel has a weird name but big hype, and it's called
Dunkin' Egg.
Wait, what's it called?
Oh wait, that's a prequel book. I was thinking of the one Dunkin' Egg or whatever the fuck that was called. What crack addict fucking wrote that one?
Yeah, that's definitely a bad name. But no, this one's called House of the Dragon. So I don't know too much about this shit, but here's the thing, man. Since people, and there's a few sites that are kind of like overly reacting to this and like some kind of like negative, like, oh man, like no one gives a fuck about Game of Thrones anymore because of one season. Which, I mean, dude, that's not the case. Like, I bet if there's a season 9 happening right now, everyone would be losing their shit talking about it. But looking at this, I mean, on top of the name, Alan, I don't know what you feel about that, so answer that too. But also, like, what do you think about this prequel series coming out too? Are you excited, or are you kind of like, nope, they lost all hope. That season 8 was so bad, I don't give a fuck anymore.
I don't. And in those situations where you lost me by the name, House of Dragon. Hey guys, hey Game of Thrones fans, do you like dragons? Do you only watch the show because of dragons? You know the creatures that weren't relevant for over half the series that only really became relevant in the last 2 seasons? You like dragons, right? We're gonna do an entire series about dragons. Mm-hmm. This is a show, Game of Thrones is a show that built its popularity based on political intrigue, deception, small-scale battles, interesting political maneuvers. Very, very well-written show. That's what built the show. That's why everyone loved it up until the last couple seasons where they started deviating from the book. But it was fantasy done with a bit more of an adult tone to it and a bit more of a realistic tone. The dragons didn't really come into effect. Weren't really a player except for maybe the last 3 seasons. So you had almost half the show. Yeah, excessive nudity, but it's HBO. It's
literally what they should do is name the next show House of Titties. Like
pretty much. But it's one of those things where the dragons didn't really become relevant till later on. But then that ended up becoming the focal point because they're very powerful. But you can tell they just shifted towards dragons just solving every fucking problem. So now that we're doing a prequel all about the dragons, they're like, well, we have like 18 different prequel ideas. We burnt the fan base because of how bad the last season was. So let's just do the things that people like. They like dragons, right? It's like, I don't fucking care. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I'll wait for a reception. I'll be like, the first episode drops. The first episode's pretty good. Okay, I'll check it out. But at this point, man, it's burnt me because that last season was just, it's kind of bad. It was fucking terrible for most of it. There's like 2 good episodes, and those were the first 2.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying? I thought you were done. My bad. I'm always interrupting you. But no, Anton Massapest, he says, I really love the trailer for King Kong vs. Godzilla. It was really awesome, especially loving the ending. Great quotes, and you're looking forward to watching it. We'll talk about that in a bit, so don't go nowhere, goddammit. But no, over here, too, JD Panda says, or not him, Mike for Life saying, happy Sunday, Chad. How's everybody doing? I know that someone's talking about the GOP. I know nothing about that. I'm sorry. But what you got? There's this fucking, because you said Dunkin' Egg. I thought you meant like Dunkin' and then Egg, like Egg being the last name. But no, there's 2 characters named like Dunk and then the other guy named Egg, right?
Dude, I don't fucking know. This just kind of came out of nowhere. It's one of the other prequels because they realized like, hey, Game of Thrones was one of the biggest television events in history. So we can't, as soon as it's done, well, we need ideas to keep the Game of Thrones brand alive. So what other random books that George R.R. Martin did connected to this? And I guess Dunk and Egg was one of them. But it's like, at this point, they burnt the fan base so hard. This is basically Star Wars after the prequels.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where you burnt the fan base so much, you have to essentially do small. Well, you should do smaller scale stories with better quality. Basically, very similar to Clone Wars, where you try to fix up the series, where you try to fill in a lot of plot holes and make some of that shit make sense. Because you fucked over the fans. You released a terrible season. 8 episodes where almost all of them were bad.
Yeah, I'm glad you're interested. So is it about Targaryens, or is the show literally about dragons? I don't even know anymore because there's so many political things put into the show where, like, if I was watching it and I was, like, caring more about the story, there was not one point where I would give a shit about the dragons at all. Because the characters is what made the show, like, had like, longevity.
Not necessarily, because, like, what kept people there was the show. The dragons were an interesting point because it was this overt power that changed up the name of the game. Because you have this person who essentially had no political experience, no armies, but was able to gain all that simply by having this very powerful force. It became this, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's a superpower. You controlling the dragons turned you into a superhero, turned you into Superman. You could go anywhere, you can do anything, and literally no one can stop you. That was interesting, not because it's cool to see dragons kill people, but because now it has set the balance of order. You have this character who is vying for the throne, but has nothing. She's literally like an orphan, has absolutely nothing but like a bunch of eggs. That's all she has to her name. But these eggs turn into these incredibly super powerful dragons. Now she has the ability to fuck up the entire world. That's what made that intriguing. But now that we kind of see what happens with that, how you fucked it up, it's like everyone's going to have dragons. So it's like you could make it work, but they're going to spend so much money on the dragons that all it's going to be is a CGI fest on television. And it's like, I have no hope for this.
Yeah, and like, I mean, it's always going to be one of those things where you can't really expect it to be too amazing too because it is on TV. So it's like their budgets are not going to be huge, and that just goes with the territory. So like, yeah, that could be an issue as well. But Ganja, I want to tell you before I ask you the same question, I'm going to actually answer myself. Where it's like, for me, I have such a disdain for Game of Thrones as well as the fans that I'm almost like hoping that this new thing fails. I'm just an ass like that. But what do you feel about it, man? Do you see this? I mean, like, are you for this, or are you kind of like, no, I hope this shit sucks?
I mean, I'm not really too invested in it because, again, I wasn't a huge fan of the Game of Thrones series. I didn't really get into it towards the end, and most of that was to troll Alan, effectively. So I can understand what my troll was going to be. And it's I guess it's a good show. I know it had a lot of medieval premises, and I know it bought a lot from medieval history. But besides that, it was just some bullshit fantasy stuff that I'm not really into. I know other people are into it, and that's their whole bag. But like for me personally, I've never been into it. But when it comes down to it, I think it could be an interesting new series within the universe. I know a lot of people waiting for him to finish the book series, but just because one thing ended terribly doesn't mean nothing else is not going to be good out of the series or that universe in itself. So, I guess I'll stay hopeful. You never know.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I'm pretty much the same boat. Although I'm a little bit more just shitty about it, just because, yeah, like I don't like, man. I remember like so many times where you're into wrestling or Walking Dead or even comic books or whatever the fuck, and like if something's not doing so well, Game of Thrones fans are always like, "Oh man, you watch that stupid shit?" No, I'm into like real shit. I'm into like these political whatever the fuck things. I'm like, dude, your shit has dragons. Shut the fuck up. And
This show wasn't about dragons.
No, I know, but I know it's not about dragons. But it's like to look at somebody else and like this is how I always battle like comic book fans too, because they'll talk down to something else, and I'm like, and I'm not saying all comic book fans are like this. Don't get mad at me, chat. But it's like there are comic book fans that are just like, well, they actually try to talk about some real life shit sometimes, like Black Panther and this and the other. I'm like, it's still goofy shit. There's people that like fly in the air and have electricity surrounding them, and the hammer that fucking you can throw and it comes back to you and all this dumb shit, and it's like don't make something else look stupid when your shit's stupid too, okay? It's like when religions do that shit to each other, like, oh yeah, that's ridiculous that Jesus walks on water, but we're gonna be over here in spaceships. Like, shut the fuck up, alright? We're all stupid, okay? Like, goddamn. iPancake saying yes, Godzilla definitely winning. Be serious. Oh, we're gonna talk about that in a bit too. One last thing to talk about before we get into Godzilla vs Kong, and this is gonna be a main Alan thing, because I hope you can explain this shit to me, Alan. But apparently Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, apologized for the Xbox Live Gold price and all the drama that was surrounding it. And if I remember correctly, I'm actually going to go ahead and scroll down, but I could have sworn I heard that they reversed the decision to increase the price. Do you know anything about this?
Originally, they were bumping the price up from for no real apparent reason. I looked into it, and I can't really find exactly why they wanted to do it. But originally, it was $60 a year, and they bumped it up to $120 a year, which is essentially the same price as Game Pass. And I guess this will make you happy. The reaction was so bad, was so vitriol. They just said, "Fuck it, we're not doing that." But like, everybody was like, "What the fuck is going on? Why are you doing this? You're not giving us a reason. This is fucking stupid. Change it back." And they did.
And that's a weird thing about this is like people are gonna forgive them for this and still buy Xbox Series X's, and I'm like, dude, you just caught them trying to fuck you. Like if they had some kind of reason,
they yelled back. They did what you always say, where they didn't take it. They fucking yelled back and they reversed the decision.
well, wait, but you're saying I should forget that they even attempted? That's like someone like
No, I'm not saying that, but like what was the thing we argued about last time, where you're like, hey, why don't you ever stand up for yourselves? Like they did. I'm not saying you should be totally like happy with Microsoft, but I think you should be at least happy with the
well,
fans.
this should crumble them. Like here's my example. That I'll use a metaphor to kind of fit this an analogy. That's like if someone came to your house and then they stole $50 off your table, but you caught them like, hey, dude, what the fuck you doing? You stealing $50? He's like, oh, I'm sorry, you caught me. Hey, here you go, bro. I won't do that again. And he gave $50. You're like, all right, well, we're gonna put it back on the table now. Don't you touch that shit again, and then you leave the room. It's like, no. You leave the fucking house. I caught you trying to steal some shit. I don't want you here no fucking ever again. Like, what the fuck? And I guarantee you, with this whole thing with Xbox, I'm like, I cannot believe it. Because this happened numerous times. You're talking about like, oh, well, hey, Nick, you always want them to fucking fight back, and blah, blah, blah. Well, this happened in fucking 2014 when they're trying to tell you guys, oh, by the way, no more used games, no more trading games, no more physical media.
Yeah, and what did they do? They fought back.
Yeah, and yet still they fucking bought into Xbox One and still
Yeah,
put money
because
into
again,
the
at the
company.
end of the day, they still like the platform, but the extra rules they're adding on they don't like. So they're fighting for what they want, because people do still want to play Xbox Live and still want to play, their games on that system. They just don't want the extra shit they're adding if they're not going to get any benefit out of it. So once again, they're like, no, we're not going to stand for this. So it's like, I don't really, again, I see the problem from Microsoft's perspective. Like, hey, why are you guys doing this?
I'll
like
be
Game Pass
right
to
back
me,
because Corey's calling me, but you continue on. I'm sorry.
that's all good. But for me, Game Pass to me is worth $120 a year. I'll pay more only because I like the service a lot. I think as much as it's giving me issues specifically on PC, if I owned an Xbox console, that's free games almost. Like it's really cheap. It's better than PlayStation Now because you get to download it to your console, so you don't have to worry about the internet. But as far as like Xbox Live, I'm never going to use it. I'm never going to need it. But hey, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, Microsoft is always going to keep trying to do dumb shit, just like every other company. And it is up to people to kind of just like, yeah, we're not going to fucking put up with this shit.
It's only a matter of time before anyone else starts pulling off, anyways.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is one of those situations where it's just like, I know this could get worse, but I know it's good that people are able to say, hey, fuck you, this is bullshit. And, oh, I heard some noise. Thank you for sharing our stream, Max. I really appreciate it, dude. I know earlier, too, me and you had a fucking back and forth with this Godzilla thing, which we'll get into that literally within 1 minute. But, yeah, dude, I mean, Alan, you do make sense, and I should be happy that they finally did something about it where it's like, hey, like, this is bullshit, don't do this again. But how many times does this have to happen before we scare off these companies from doing this to us again? Because if they feel like, oh, well, we can just apologize, reverse it, and then they'll still stick with us, it's like, there needs to be something in place where you guys go, oh, shit, they're really mad. Let's, like, not fuck them over anymore.
Well, they're not going to, at the end of the day, companies will try to do whatever they can to get the most out of their consumers. That's just the name of corporations. The thing is they never try the same thing twice. They never brought up that used game shit again, ever. So they're probably like, they will increase the price, but they're never going to sit there and be like, oh, double it. They won't care. No, they'll do what Netflix does every couple of years, increase it by 10%. Because Netflix is doing that again. They're increasing it by about, it's like $1, but it's like, yeah, they're like, hey, you know what? People won't be mad if it's an extra $1, but that adds an extra 10 million to our fucking coffers every single month. So
watch when Netflix costs like $120, like that. You know what's gonna happen, right? Like Netflix is gonna be this thing where it's like $120 a year, like the Amazon thing, where it's like, oh, every 12 months we just randomly take off like a percentage of $1,000 fucking dollars, and then you're like, oh well, since it already went on my account, I guess I'll just watch Netflix for the next 12 months. Like bullshit. Someone needs to stop Netflix too. I'm comfortable.
Well, again, once it gets a bit too like crazy, again, if they do it too fast, too crazy. To me, it's like my sister pays for it and just lets me borrow the account. But if I was paying for Netflix, I would have canceled a long time ago. They canceled way too much of my shows.
Yeah, no, man, no, I'm not liking what they've been doing lately. But here's the thing, though, man. It's time to talk about the big topic of the day, and this will be somewhat of a short conversation. Not too much to say about this, but there's definitely some fucking reactions to be had. Alan, me and you, we were so fucking hyped. We were like, Godzilla vs. Kong, fucking Sunday. Oh, fuck, it's gonna happen. We were so fucking hyped, and I was hyped too. Watched it this morning, man, and I was like nervous, like literally, not even like bad nervous. Like I was like nervous because I'm like, oh my god, it's finally here. I don't know how to. Oh god, and I'm like, my hand is shaking while I'm holding my phone. That's how fucking hyped I get for like the properties I love. And it took like 45 seconds, pretty much around here, where I started going like, I I don't know. The fact that once again it's gonna center around a fucking kid, and there's one kid because its spirit is so nice and happy and so innocent that the big super duper monster animal is fucking cool with it, and then they forgot their own lore. Godzilla is a bad guy again.
I don't know why you're saying forget their own lore. Godzilla, as far as the lore, he kind of goes back and forth. Sometimes he's helping humanity, sometimes he's the villain, or he's causing natural disasters. So it's always been in Kong's history where he can be a bad guy. This is basically they're even asking in there, hey, what's happening? Why is he doing this? So the over the course of the movie, because we're seeing this this is a really interesting perspective. I fucking love this trailer, by the way. This was fucking amazing. But as far as what Kong's ability is, or not Kong, what Godzilla's background is there must be something going on, because they're trying to figure out. Characters in the movie are like, hey, we kind of know this guy. Yeah, he caused a lot of destruction, but at the end of the day, he's trying to help us. He saved us against the Mutos in the first one. He saved us against Ghidorah and Rodan in the other one. So if he's fucking up the cities, there has to be some reason. Maybe he's being controlled. Maybe he's being poisoned. Maybe he's dying. So the plot of this is to figure out, like, hey, what's going on? But in the meantime, we have to slow him the fuck down. What are we gonna do? We're gonna get the last guy that fucking helped us.
Well, what I was gonna do to really explain everything, because I know people in chat, like that's the thing. Remember we were talking before the show of like, man, it's hard to do things like live because you gotta make sure to like bullet point all your shit and make sure you say everything, so no one talks shit. But man, it took fucking just like there's a delay, folks, and literally within 10 seconds, these people are like, "Don't you talk about my nerd shit?" But no, guys, yeah, Mechagodzilla is right there. I know the fucking lore, dude.
I didn't actually know that. What are you talking about?
Oh, you didn't see it in the background here? This is Mechagodzilla.
No.
So what's happening?
I didn't see Mechagodzilla at all.
Yeah. So what's happening is the reason why Godzilla's being somewhat of a villain or whatever is because obviously someone's probably mind controlling him, right? Especially because this Mechagodzilla here, he can actually there's ways where his body can look a certain way or whatever because they're working on him. It's like people made him what he is. He's like a copy of regular Godzilla, so that makes sense. But at the same time here, though, it's like that one person in the submarine, like that's Godzilla. It's like no, it's not, and you should fucking know that it's supposed to look different. It's a completely different fucking character.
I mean, again, I literally didn't see it in the trailer, but I'm expecting some random person that's probably never seen or has only seen random images to be like, hey, that's kind of Godzilla. I'm not sure if they're going to even really give him a name because we're calling him Mechagodzilla, but again, I don't know if the universe might call him Mechagodzilla right away. It might be like a project name or something. Hey, Mechagodzilla. But the average person would be like, oh, that's evil Godzilla or that's metal Godzilla. Like, Mecha is this very specific.
That's rocking hard Godzilla cock right there.
No, but like another thing about this too is like there's other points of this trailer where because people are saying in the chat as well, saying like, well, hey man, like Godzilla's now he does whatever the fuck he wants. Well, that used to be the fucking case, but then if you look, and by the way, it's one of those things where like some things are canon, some things are not. It's that fucking lazy writing of big properties, like with comic books, you fucking nerds. That none of this shit actually has any connective tissue with the shit that came out before it. But like the last movie, the one that came out literally 2 fucking years ago. He's literally like he's chilling with that one Chinese Ken Watanabe, and they're like in love and shit. He's like, "Hey, Godzilla, I love you. You lay down, you get some rest, baby. Okay, I'm gonna blow us both up." Just licking that fucking lizard balls, and they're totally cool with each other. And because Godzilla can tell when something's innocent, he's defending the fucking people.
But again, that stuff is like as far as what happened with the most 2 recent one, it is essentially like a reboot of the franchise where they're changing up the characters. As far as this one, we're still not 100% sure like what is going on, because again, people are asking the same questions we are, like, hey, this guy helped us out, he's our buddy, what's going on? But at the end of the day, he's hurting people, he's destroying cities, so we need to find a way to stop him while trying to figure out exactly what's going on. So it's like a lot of the questions you're asking that's what the movie's about.
Yeah, but like once again, dude, it's just like one of those things where if these characters, like for one, two, being able to shoot that many lasers and stuff, and once again, it could be Mechagodzilla. It is what it is. It's just like lots of these rules just seem a little fucking odd. It feels like there's a lacking of connective tissue to why these characters are able to do what they fucking do, and also too like a lot of lack of explanation. And the biggest thing about this trailer too that really pisses me off is that fucking music.
That's the only part I'll do.
And dude, like. And this is the thing that Mortal Kombat trailers had too. Like when you had Wiz Khalifa playing a Mortal Kombat X fucking song, you got this really badass fight going on between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Then you got another badass fight with Mortal Kombat 11 with Scorpion versus Raiden. And your idea is to play some shit where it's just like, yo, get him, like just doing that shit. I'm like, dude, like, tonality, dude. Like every single Godzilla trailer, from King of the Monsters to fucking 2014 to Kong Skull Island, every trailer gave respect to these characters. This is a big, epic, holy shit fucking fight. And you're gonna play some fucking like slash hip hop new metal fucking thing going on here? Like what the fuck are you doing?
That's the only thing I didn't like. To me, this reminds me when they fucking put Kanye West, I Am a God to the Assassin's Creed trailer. They're like, hey, what's your favorite rap song? Okay, the kids will love it. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like there are ways to kind of make these things work. I think they should have went something a bit more orchestral, something a bit more maybe action-packed, maybe something with a bit more of a riff to it. I just like look at that. I'm like, I was just so busy, like awe-inspired by the characters on screen. I didn't really care about the fucking background music, but I'm like, this is bad. Like, legitimately, it's probably the only part of the trailer I just did not enjoy. Where I'm just like, yo, what are you doing with this fucking music? Like, you're really taking it out. Like, I actually do like the MKX fucking reveal, just because as much as I don't like Wiz Khalifa, at least the beat worked. Mm-hmm. That beat was fucking amazing. When he kind of comes in, I'm too legendary. I'm like, oh my god, you're lame as fuck, dude.
Yeah, and then like it's not even like it doesn't even rhyme anything too because he just says it. It's just like some random quote like I'm too legendary, and then boom, and then some shit happens. Like damn, you're even interrupting his fucking like verse. Like it's not even. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's fucking crazy. Kukua says the music was off-putting at first, but I thought it worked after the first few seconds. And that's once again, music is so subjective too that I can totally take an L in that sense. And I can be like, hey, dude, maybe I'm just fucking wrong about this, but. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it at somebody else really quick though. Roxy, what do you feel about this trailer? Do you feel like I'm being kind of an asshole? I know a lot of people in chat are like, look at this rambling stupid motherfucker and blah blah blah. But what do you feel about this, Rox?
Whose 12-year-old son with a SoundCloud rapper ass friend did they pick for this fucking trailer?
Yeah.
Big, you got bars.
Not. Like the first second I heard, yeah, I thought it was Limp Bizkit, bitch.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, here we go. It's a chainsaw, man. Like, just fucking, really, dude? just got this cool ass Godzilla. Like, I thought Godzilla was gonna start dancing and shit and crip walking. Like, let's do this. Fucking, like, it's not a boxing fight, guys. It's not Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. This is fucking a huge lizard dinosaur monster breaking down fucking buildings versus a big ass gorilla who will also be breaking down buildings.
I'm a little worried because true, they are playing into what we want to see, but then again, how many other movies have done that in the past? Freddy versus Jason, Batman versus Superman, shit like that. It ties into the most primal, like childlike thing that people want to see. I like this thing, I like this other thing. I want to watch them both fight. So either this could go like to the point where it's like Freddy versus Jason, which we barely see them fight. And the focus is more so on the people and humanity in that aspect, like one of the more modern takes of Godzilla. Or we just get like what we saw in the trailer, which is basically like UFC event of the year, but with two animals. Mm-hmm. So it can go one of two ways, honestly.
That's what I'm feeling too. And Ganja, what do you feel about this, man?
I'm actually looking forward to it. Besides the fucking new metal shit, I like the actiony stuff. I like the whole fact that they're going to be doing different elements of the fight, where King Kong is initially going to have a contact with Godzilla in the water, and then they're going to take the battle out to land. But kind of what Rox was saying is kind of the ultimate kid fantasy of watching these two mighty, like, superhero iconic characters go at it. Which it's just, it's. I guess if you would put it like in a realm of like fanfic, kind of. Like, there's no real, like, reason to go see this except for to go see the cool-ass action that's going to occur. So I can't really judge it too harshly. I'm actually kind of excited to go see this. But the new metal music did not help.
And I will say to the chat as well, because I know that Christian and Kaiserlith and some other people are still there. And Raheem, you just fucking crazy. But the thing is, though, it's like I'm still hyped for the movie, just to put that out there, too. It's not like I'm like, oh, man, this shit's going to be stupid. It's like, this is a trailer reaction, trailer review. And I review what the subject is. I'm not talking about like, oh, I bet all this shit's going to be explained. I bet that sounds like in the movie. Oh, the movie's going to be great. Like, yeah, it might. But this trailer was certainly not fucking cool. Like, this was silly shit. You know what I mean? Fucking, like, even this part, like, that's pushing him into the water thing, it's like, man, that didn't even look cool. Like, I mean, that was just fucking silly. The kid, like, just this random, like, they're doing the same thing they did with 11. I forgot the actress who plays 11. But with King of the Monsters and her looking at the sky, oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, here comes Godzilla. It's like, I don't want to see the fucking kid. We've been waiting. Someone said 1961 is when this shit came out, whatever the fuck the case may be. And it's like, yeah, 58 years, the rematch of the year. Dude, we've been waiting so long, and you want to show us some fucking kid who the fucking gorilla loves all of a sudden because the kid's innocent? I guarantee you, in that kid's life, there's not enough time for her to have enough conversations with that fucking gorilla that they become best friends. Okay, like fucking, that's bullshit. And one thing, the fucking thing I hate about King of the Monsters so much too is like shit where Godzilla is blowing up everything, shooting lasers, farting all this fucking atomic gas, and yet somehow Eleven or Millie Bobby Brown, she fucking can fall off buildings or whatever the fuck, or go in her house, gets there within 2 fucking minutes, by the way, after miles of being away from it, and like she doesn't get hurt, she doesn't get killed, nothing happens. It's like, dude, the luck of these humans is so distracting. All these people dying, but yet the main character, that plot armor is so fucking intense that it's like I'm watching a cartoon. Like, it's stupid. And I know that, it is cartoons. It's two big fucking monsters. I get it. But, like, treat it with some fucking respect. Like, they made this shit look like a silly ass. It's like Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Fucking WWE ass bullshit. Like, it fucking gets on my nerves, dude. But Jet, did you actually watch the trailer? I don't know if you're really hyped to watch this at all. I don't even know if you're there, actually. But, like, did you see this?
Yes, I did.
So, what'd you feel about it? Do you think I'm overreacting and being a fucking crybaby?
I mean, you're overacting a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, you kind of have to. Like, I mean, your personality gives a shit.
Well, like, I'm not trying to overact just because we're on a show or anything. I legitimately just, like, this is a fucking thing where I'm like, this is annoying. That's all it is. Nick is being a crybaby. I like the trailer. Yeah. We're both crybabies. Okay, fuck you. But what do you feel about this in general, though, Jet? Aside from me and my craziness.
Well, I mean, I thought it was pretty exciting. I mean, there's a lot more to look forward to other than that last Godzilla movie that, honestly, I thought was god-awful boring.
Oh, I disagree with that. I thought the last one was okay. There's some things wrong with
I
it.
thought that movie's so fucking boring. I was just like, oh my god, I'm so ready to go. This one actually looks like it has promise. And with the music, I didn't mind it too much. I feel like, I think other music would have worked better, but I don't mind it. Like, outside of the trailer, I probably would end up listening to it.
Okay, well, Jesus, I don't know. I think I'm completely alone in this fucking thing. Ransom Matterly, I think your keyboard fucked up, brother, with that username. But he says it's a monster movie. Like, yeah, it's a monster mash. No, I see what you mean, and like I'm gonna like this movie. It's just this trailer. I feel like, I just don't think it was edited well. I think there's a lot of things that they could have done here. Jamel Barnett says the last one was action packed. What the fuck? Yeah, I really did like that. I like the action in the last one, but then again, I could see why some people didn't like it, and the characters were just boring as fuck. And when you're distracted with these characters,
I was so bored. I was so bored, especially with the humans. I'm just like, oh my god, just go back to the monsters already. I can't stand this. I can't stand these people talking no more.
Yeah, because Christian, and I'm not saying you're wrong for this, by the way, because you like what you like, and it's totally cool, Christian, but he says, I just want 2 Titans to fight. And I think that's what a lot of people are coming from when they're in here, like, it's a monster fight, but like, and Alan was actually explaining this a while back, where it's like, don't judge it just on that. Things can be better, like, strive to be better than just what the fucking foundation of what this is. It's like, you can say about comic book movies, like, well, who cares about story and reasoning? Shoot webs at things, Spider-Man. It's like, that's why you get shitty Spider-Man movies. Strive to be better. Do tell a better story. Do something cool. And yeah, I know it's 2 big dumb monsters fighting, but like this is a universe. You can tell some really interesting stories here. I mean, if you want to just see 2 big titans fight, go watch Transformers and watch all that Michael Bay bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, if you can get mad at Michael Bay shit, then you can see my point in this. I feel like, but it is what it is. Alan, what do you feel about that though? When people say like, "Hey man, it's just 2 monsters. Let them fight. Just fuck off."
I don't know. Like I said, they're lowering their own expectations, and that's why I didn't like the last one, because it didn't focus on. It should focus on the monsters, but no one. The people are also there. That's what made the Kong really good. Is it focused on the individuals as well? So it's like they just made a shitty movie in the last one, and this one looks a lot better. So.
Yeah, Chris saying, "No, Bay doesn't know how to film the big fights. They got fights in these movies down to a T. In these movies, like, you mean just the 2? Like, he only made 2 of them as far as like the new world's going. Like, yeah, how do you know?" I don't know. I can argue that, but I don't want to waste too much time as far as that shit goes. But yeah, I mean, what do you think story-wise they need to do with this to really make you like love this movie, Alan? Aside from this trailer, like, what are your predictions?
I'm not really sure, honestly. I'm not sure what they're gonna do. I didn't even know Mechagodzilla was in the trailer, so you guys basically kind of covered everything that I would have even thought to say. So, again, we'll see what ends up happening. They need to come up with a legitimate reason for them to fight, and that's really the only thing that's coming to my head right now.
Okay, yeah, but no, man. Hopefully this is good. It is what it is. We'll see. I'm just looking at all these characters too, man. Like just, oh yeah, the wall. Oh, look over there. Oh, it's big. We get it. It's a big guy. It's a Godzilla. All right, Jesus Christ. Cedric, and by the way, guys, I'm gonna share this on Facebook. But Cedric, Bob in the chat, did a parody of this trailer, and it's so fucking funny. And I wish I could show it, but we would get in trouble because YouTube. But anyways, with that said, though, we're gonna get the hell out of here. Though I had to do a Dropbox video for Corey, all that good stuff. Alan, why don't you tell me where to find you and in Metropolis?
Alrighty, so if you're interested to hear more about me and Ganja talk about political stuff, check out the Metropolis Collective, where we have a show called the Illuminati Podcast. One day I'll get that name right. But yeah, drop a like on there so you can get notifications. Literally just had 2 things drop today. The Nunes Podcast, where Jenny and Ginny talk about K-pop, and Cedric's Sports Pod Podcast, where he talks about all sorts of sports stuff. So drop a like there so you guys can get the notifications when those episodes drop.
Oh, yes. With that said, guys, it's time for us to get the hell out of here. Goodbye. Go enjoy Double Toasted. They're going to be doing the same thing, talking about Godzilla vs. Kong. Because they're popular, you guys might really, really like their them saying the same shit we did. Goodbye. I hate half of you. I really do. Fuck you. But anyways, we're out of here.